Alright guys, well, I managed to get the camera down in here, but I apologize, you're not really where I want you to be, but this is what we're going to have to live with, I guess. I've got all my caps laid out and my shims back in the same spot that they were. Just want to kind of wipe them down, make sure you don't have any dirt or anything in there. And when you got to put these back, the arrows on that cap, if you can see it there, you want those pointing out, same way as where you take them out. But this is kind of a pain in the butt to get these shims up in there. This is the stock shim, stock style shim. If you see, it has a chamfer there. You want to have that to the outside, to the case. This one goes over on the passenger side, the right side, so just makes it a little bit easier to start this shim. Usually I like trying, it usually goes best if I put the stack side in first. So some are tighter than others. You just gotta have to really watch, and if you don't be careful, you can break these pretty easy. They're just, I think they're just made out of cast iron, so they're not really tough, but not a whole lot you can do. And I have broke those before, so it can happen. Alright guys, so we got it up in there. You just want to kind of make sure you got your shims tapped up in this place. So I just get a small punch. Just make sure those are all the way in, like flush, kind of nice and neat. But doesn't take much. If it's going in real tight, then you've got too much shim, but these were in there pretty good. Alright guys, so I went ahead and torqued the carrier bearings. 80 foot-pounds is what they torque to. I did it in 2 steps. The first step I did was 40, and then I came back and finished it up at 80. Didn't film it because obviously this is kind of a tight spot, and had to get in there pretty close. You couldn't see anything, so went ahead and got those torqued, so that's all good. On to the next step. Hey guys, welcome back. Picking up where we left off on the rear axle. I put the carrier back in, and I didn't get all, I lost a piece of the footage where I checked the backlash with the dial indicators. So I got that in, torqued, and I had, you want to do a run out of that, just check it, and I usually check them in like 4 spots. I had anywhere from 18 thousandths to 22 thousandths of backlash, about a 3 to 4 thousandths variance, but which isn't a whole lot. That's good, fine. And it's just a little bit bigger than what you want. Depending on the company you look at, Ford Racing wants to see 8 to 12 thousandths. Some aftermarket companies want to see 11 to 16 thousandths, and that's with new gear sets also. So with a used gear set, you know, if you took it apart to check it, it would probably be at the high side of that. But in a racing application, you want it to be kind of on the higher side. A lot of guys will say it's just debatable, it's preference, but either way, 20 thousandths, we'll say on the average, is just a little bit more backlash than what I wanted to see. You'll get a driveline clunk with something like that when you're putting it in gear. If you hear a noise in your rear axle, it's probably because you got too much backlash when you put it from park to drive. But I didn't have any shims, so I had to order a shim pack. And if you remember, my factory shim on the passenger side, it's 275 thousandths, okay? So normally it's about, you need to put about twice the amount of shim, about 1.5 to twice the amount of shim to get that amount of movement in your backlash. So being 20 to 22 thousandths, I kind of wanted to shoot for about 10 to 12 thousandths of movement. So I just went ahead and went a little bit over that. So I put 20 thousandths of shim. I had to take 20 thousandths of shim off of the passenger side. You want to tighten up your backlash, you take shim from the passenger side and you move that amount of shim to the driver's side. Well, being a solid shim, I couldn't do that. So I ended up having to go to a clutch pack on the passenger side like I have in the driver's side. So what I did was take 20 thousandths from there, roughly about 18 thousandths really. So I took 18 thousandths from there on the passenger side, and I moved that 18 thousandths over to my driver's side. So that would in fact bring the ring gear closer to the passenger side, adding shim to the driver's side. Moves the ring gear into the pinion farther, which tightens up your backlash. So that's what we did. And I got the dial indicator and stuff set up underneath there. It's really tight under there. I debated on even showing this, but we'll just kind of show you what we got going on there and go from there. Alright guys, so we're underneath the car. I got my dial indicator set up. You just want to have it to the outside edge of the tooth, and like I said, it's a pain in the butt getting underneath here and trying to video this on the floor, but I just wanted to kind of show you. Just go up in here and move that, just taking up the slop. You know, you don't want to try to have your pinion flange held when you do this, but as you can see, it's just a little bit over 10 thousandths, which right at 10 probably really is. I'm pretty happy with that. It's right in the middle of the Ford spec and right at the bottom of an aftermarket gear spec. These are Ford gears, which I'll recommend to anybody. If you're putting gears in a Ford anyway, from my experience and friends of mine that actually worked at places that built differentials, they said always go with the 4 gear, and that's what I've done. Motive gear also is pretty good, and I've heard that motive gear actually makes the 4 gear. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I've had good luck with those, so I always stick with them. Yeah, but that's where we're at, and looks pretty good. Everything's torqued down, ready to go, and now we just gotta get the cover and everything back on. So we'll button this up, see what happens.